So today topic is AWS, Amazon Web Services. So AWS is a cloud computing. There are so many cloud computing technologies we have, like AWS, Azure, GCP, Alibaba. There are so many. We'll discuss later. Before understanding what is this AWS, as a cloud admin, or a database admin, or network admin, or even a DevOps engineer, everyone has to work on some applications. They're going to work on some applications. So what is this application? I think most of the people, they know what is this application, right? Just hold on. So what is this application? What types of applications we have? So before we start, what is AWS? You need to understand either Linux admin or storage admin or database admin. You need to understand first what is this application, what are the types of applications. To host any kind of application, first of all, you need infrastructure. So what type of infrastructure you require? Like servers, storages, switches, routers, all this comes under infrastructure. So what are the types of applications? There are three types. One is standalone application. The other one is web applications. Then mobile application. So everyone will working on either standalone or web application or mobile application. You are given the support for this application. Linux administrator, cloud admin, DevOps engineer, they are going to give the support for this application. And these applications are developed by the developers or programmers. What exactly is standalone application? These standalone applications will always install on local system. On local system. The laptop is a local system, desktop is a local system. It is going to install on end user system. End user nothing but client nothing but a desktop and laptop. Any example for the standalone applications? You type calculator, this is called standalone. Calendar, also standalone. All these are applications installed on your local system. You can't access this application from remote, not from internet, only local system. That is called as a standalone. Even Google Chrome, which is third-party software, it is also standalone. So all the local application or what are the applications that are installed on local system, that is called as a standalone. As a developer, we call it as a standalone application. Developers are cloud engineer, we call it as a standalone. But as a Linux administrator, we call it as a standalone system. Standalone system. Cloud admin, Linux admins, we call it a standalone system. What is the meaning of standalone system? My laptop is standalone. My desktop is standalone. The meaning of this, you can't access data You can add some applications which are installed on local system from internet. Standalone means intranet, only that particular system. That is called standalone. So to install this standalone application, we need a standalone system, that is laptop or desktop. Web applications. There are two types of web application. One is called static. The other one we call dynamic. There are two types, static and dynamic. Either static or dynamic, the web applications are hosted. The web applications are hosted on remote system, on internet, can be accessed by any user from internet. So to access this web application, we need internet access. Without internet access, we can't able to access this web application. To access this web application, we don't need to install anything on local system. You don't need to install anything on local system. You can say that we are installing Google Chrome, but Google Chrome is third party. In place of third party, I can go for Microsoft Edge, which is the default browser from Windows. So you don't need to install anything on local system to access this web application like gmail.com, yahoo.com, hotmail.com, YouTube, Facebook, Netflix. All these are comes under web application. To access this web application, you don't require anything installed on local system. For example, the example for web application. Flipkart. So this is called web application. To access this web application, do you install anything on your local system? Not required. Not required. It is hosted on internet. You just need internet access. So it is hosted on somewhere on internet. It's not hosted on local system. So this is called as a web application. Again, this web application, again two types we have, static and dynamic. The web applications are classified as two types, static and dynamic. What is the difference between static and dynamic? This is called as a static web application. You can't able to modify, you can't able to edit, you can't able to delete. It is only for presentation. Only we can see the content. There is no human interaction for static web application. It is only for display purpose. You take nowadays, all the newspapers are available on internet. Install the app in your mobile. We can watch that everything, all the content, but we can't able to change, we can't able to modify. That is the one of the example for static web application. Then what is the example for dynamic web application? All the banking applications. All the banking applications are dynamic. Even the Flipkart also dynamic. When I click on this login, asking for credentials, phone number, mobile number, password, this is called as a dynamic. When asking some input from the user, we are providing some details. That is called as a dynamic web application. So with the help of this in dynamic web application, we are giving the credentials, we are doing some transactions. We are paying the amount through credit card or debit card. That is called as a dynamic web application. So dynamic web application it works on three-tier architecture. Three-tier architecture. One is presentation layer. Two is application layer. Three is data link layer. So dynamic web application is going to work on three-tier architecture, presentation layer, application layer, data link layer. Basically, this is a concept of networking. In networking, we have a concept called OSI layers. OSI layers, who are CCNA certified, who learn these networking concepts, CCNA certified, CCNP certified. They know this, what is this OSI layers. There are 7 OSI layers. Or if you are BTech computer science, you are aware of this OSI layers. There is separate subject in BTech computers, networking. In that, they are going to learn this OSI layers. So totally 7 layers. Out of 7, for demo class, we'll discuss only these 3, not in detail, just what is what. We have a separate topic on this in AWS. There we'll discuss the remaining layers. So the dynamic web application, they are going to work on three-tier architecture. So presentation layer only for GUI, graphical user interface. In just a GUI mode, graphical user interface. So this is called as a presentation layer. You just display the content. It works on the presentation layer. What programming languages we are going to use to develop this presentation layer? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, React.js. All these are languages that are going to use to develop this presentation layer. So to develop this presentation layer, we have a separate developers, programmers. We call it as a UA developers. UA developers are UX developers. UA stands user interface. So there are separate developers for this who are going to write the presentation layer. So what language they are going to use? HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So in dynamic web application, the presentation layer communicate with application layer. The presentation layer is going to communicate with the application layer. You take, for example, So there is a server. So this is the hardware, or you call it a server. On top of this, we are going to install the operating system. Either Windows or Linux, install the OS. On top of this, install the application. Any software like Java, Python. Java, Tomcat is an application server. On top of this, you are going to install the application. So you want to access the Flipkart, where this Flipkart is hosted on internet. The Flipkart is hosted on internet. Let us say you have laptop or desktop. You type www.flipkart.com. Nothing installed local system. You just have a Microsoft Edge, even there is no Google Chrome. So when you type www.flipkart.com, it is going to the server on internet, and open the web page. To access this Flipkart.com is hosted on web server. So what do you require? I need one web server and I need one application server. What is web server? Web server for hosting the web page. And application server. So web server for hosting the web pages, it provides only the static content. You can't able to modify. The static content is hosted on web server and asking for credentials, login name and password. You are paying the amount through the credit card, you are giving the order and pay the amount through credit card, debit card. Then there are some APIs are configured. What is API stands? Application Program Interface. Here we have login API, we have order API, we have payment API, like different APIs are configured by the UI developers. All these APIs are configured by UI developers. So when you type www.flipkart.com, it is asking for credentials. That means what? It is a dynamic layer. It's a dynamic application. What is this mobile? We can also access this Flipkart with mobile also. We don't need a laptop or desktop. We don't need a laptop or desktop. If at all you want to access this application for mobile, what you need to install on your mobile? What you need to install mobile? Without that, we can't able to access Flipkart. We need to install the app from the Play Store. We need to install the app from the Play Store. Like you are doing the money transactions online from any banking. So we have banking apps, SBI apps, like Access Bank app, All these are apps need to install before you access and do some transactions. So all these are called mobile application. All these are mobile application which are going to install on your mobile. So what are the mobile developers we have? iOS, iPhone operating system, Android. There are separate developers, Android developers, iOS developers. They are going to write, they are going to develop this application, call it as a mobile application. So this is called three-tier architecture. So in dynamic web application, the presentation layer communicates with the application layer. The data which is sending by the user, they are giving the login name, password, credentials. This data sending by the user by using the presentation layer. And the application layer take the data, process the data, process the data, and send to the data link layer. That is called database. Application layer, it is called application server. All the application servers are like Tomcat, WebLogic, WebSphere. All these application servers are runs on application layer. For any application layer, we need some database. You're giving the credentials, login name, and password. Where that information in the database server. The account information database server. So for validations, it is going to the database server. This database will be work on data link layer. It work on data link layer. So static web applications always work on presentation layer. Static web applications works on presentation layer. Application server works on application layer. Database server works on data link layer. This is called three-tier architecture. Every developers, every administrators, either cloud or system admin, database admin, all we people are working on three-tier architecture. One is front end, one is middleware, and one is back end. Front end, middleware, and back end. What is front end? Front end always like Java, HTML, PHP. This is called front end. Front end means you are able to see that. How to see this front end in a laptop or desktop? Open the browser. This is called front end, HTML. We are able to see that. Who can understand this? Developers can understand. There are two types of codes, binary code and source code. Binary code means 0 and 1 machine language. You can't able to understand it. Source code is user understandable. This is called as a source code. Developers can understand. This is called as a front end. They're able to see that. So front end, Java, HTML, PHP, all these are front end. So this is called as a presentation layer. And one middleware. Middleware are Tomcat, WebLogic, WebSphere. All this comes under middleware tools. It works on application layer. And backend is database. There are two types of databases: SQL database, NoSQL database. So this work on data link layer. This is called as a three-tier architecture. So we are giving when you enter flipkart.com, at first go to the static website, static web page, where we can see the presentation layer. After that, asking for credentials, login name and password. That is called application layer. It will take that input from the user, process that data, and send to the database server. Here it is doing the validation, whether username is correct or not, username password matches or not. That is called as a three-tier architecture. Everyone, every administrator, either cloud admin or system admin or even DevOps engineer, we are going to work on this three-tier architecture. So without understanding what is this application, we can't become a, without understanding what is the three-tier architecture, we can't become a cloud admin. No. Understand difference between the physical data center and cloud data center. Just a minute. Now, coming to the cloud, what is exactly cloud computing? A cloud computer is nothing but we are accessing the resources over the internet. What type of resource? Either software resource or a hardware resource. A best example for cloud computing is gmail.com, yahoo.com. Do you know where the gmail.com server is? Do you know where the yahoo.com server is? So to access this cloud computing, any services from cloud computing, we need to have internet access. Without internet access, we can't able to access any cloud computing. So gmail.com, yahoo.com is the best example for cloud computing. Even if you take Google Drive. To access this Google Drive, we need internet access, which is called as a cloud computing. So any kind of resource, either software resource or a hardware resource, mails are software resources. All the mails are software resources. Whereas AWS or Azure or GCP, they are going to provide both software and hardware resources like servers, switches, routers, all this comes under hardware resources. So you want to understand this cloud computing, you need to understand what is physical server, what is data center, all this stuff. For example, I want to develop one application, same like Flipkart.com. I want to develop this application. To develop this application, what do you require? This is called application. To host this application, what do you require? I need a operating system. To install operating system, what do you require? I need a physical server. I need a physical server. I can't deploy this application in my laptop or desktop. Laptop, desktops are the workstations. We cannot call it as a server. Server means what? It's a higher end hardware, like 32 GB RAM, 64 CPUs or 16 CPUs. So multiple motherboards. Multiple motherboards means more than one CPU, more than one motherboard. These are called multi-boards. So I need some higher end hardware. So this is my data center. I purchased one hardware having 32 GB RAM, 16 processor. 32 GB RAM, 16 processor. This is the server. But I can't run my application on one physical server. There is no fault tolerance here. The meaning of fault tolerance, if this server crash, if this server is down, no one can access my application, downtime to my application. So there is no fault tolerance. For fault tolerance, we need to configure, we need to purchase another physical server. Both the physical servers should be under same configuration. Both the servers should be under same configuration. So these are the backup. For one server, the other server is backup. Whatever the operating system installed, the same ways we are going to install the backup server. Your application database, what you are going to install, everything same copy in another server. But I can't run my application with two physical servers. I need a storage because I want to install the database. I want to install the database. So either Oracle database, MySQL database, MS SQL database. For any kind of database, I can't install my database on local disk. Local disk contains only operating system. We never keep the database on local disk. The reason is if this hard disk crash or the server failed, the whole data will be lost. So we are not going to keep database on local disk. We have a separate storage box. I have to purchase separate storage like SAN, NAS, storage area network, NAS means network attached storage. So we have a separate storage here. For example, you want to store your personal data. If I keep all my personal data in my laptop, tomorrow my operating system is corrupted, the whole data will be lost. So what we are going to do? We are going to upload this data to the Google Drive. Google Drive, nothing but is storage. It is a external storage, not internal storage. Google Drive also external storage. So in this storage, we have number of hard drives. You have more than a number of hard drives, 500 GB, 1 TB, number of hard drives are in the storage box. So database we have never installed on boot disk or local disk. Database we are going to install it on the storage box, either NAS or SAN. You want to access the storage from these two physical server. I need a I need a switch or router. Switch or router, physical device. I need a switch or router. Where we use switch, where we use router. You cannot see any company without a switch, without a router. Any company, MNC company, without a switch, without a router. The reason is the purpose of switch only to communicate the servers in the private network. So all these two servers and this storage should be communicate with private network. Then I need to add these two servers to the switch. Do not add to the hub. If you add any server to the hub, those servers can access internet. If add any server to the hub, router. If add any server to the router, through this router they can access internet. Or any internet user can access my servers from internet if it is connected to the router. In the organization, if there are 100 or 1,000 systems or 5,000 systems, don't think that all these 5,000 laptop desktops are going to connect to the internet. I'm not talking about laptop, we're talking about servers. If there are 1,000 servers, don't think that all the 1,000 servers are able to communicate with the internet. Most of the servers will be configured in a private network. My database server should not have internet access. A production server should not have internet access. Which servers need internet access? Like mail servers and web servers. Only mail servers, web servers should have internet access. That means only those servers are going to connect to the router. Only those servers will be connected to the router. Remaining all the servers are connected with the switch. Only private network. So that's the you have to understand where we have to use switch, where we have to use router. And I need one database server. Without database, there is no application. People are doing the transaction through Google Pay, Phone Pay, where the reports are going to generate, where the reports are going to store. It is in one server that is called database server. So you want to start a small application or a small company. You got a project and you start a small company. Minimum you require 2 physical servers, 1 switch, 1 storage, and 1 database server. This is called as an infrastructure. What do you call infrastructure? A server, storages, networks, switches, routers. All this comes under infrastructure. So this is a small data center where we have only 2 physical servers. You go to any some companies, like any company, somewhere you see the board server room. Somewhere you see the board called server room. What's the meaning of that? So there are 2 physical servers, 2 or more physical servers. Minimum 2 you see that. They cannot start any application with 1 physical server. Even I purchased 2 physical servers. Each server costs 2.5 lakhs with its 2 processors, 64 GB RAM. So for one server, the other server is backup. So like this, you can see a small data center server room that is called as a data center. I think all of you understand what is data center. We need a server, switches, databases, and storage box. But the MNC companies like Wipro, TCS, Cognizant, CTS.com, IBM, they have their own data centers, which is very, very big data center. So some engineers are working in this data center. Their job is replacing the switches, routers, any issues, physical issues, hardware issues, they're going to resolve because these people are working in the data center. These are called rack. In every rack, there are a number of servers. These are called blade servers. These are called blade servers. All these blade servers are mounted in the rack. All the servers are mounted in the rack. You can see one data center will be having more than 5,000 servers. More than 5,000 servers, one data center. So these people are working the 24/7 in the physical data center. The meaning of physical data center, we are able to see that. You can see the Google map where the Cognizant data center in Chennai. We can see in the Google map. We can see the physical location. That is called physical data center. The physical data center maintained by their own organization. The physical data centers are maintained by their own organizations. So they are the responsible for everything. You want to see the server, this is called data center. You want to see the servers in the real time. So I worked on this server when I was in Malaysia HP. So this is the one physical server from HP, Model 3 DL380. Here we have two physical hard disks, and these are the disks we call as the storage. This is called internal storage. This is called internal storage. Whereas this is called external storage. There are some servers with internal storage, there are some servers with external storage, but most of the servers are external storage. The problem with if you skip database on internal storage, if this server crashed, no use of my database here, my whole data will be lost. The real time will always use external storage. Even this server crash also, take another server, install operating system, operating system application, and connect to the switch, my database in the storage box. I can access my data from the server. There is the advantage of keeping the data in the separate storage box like Google Drive. Tomorrow your laptop is corrupted, desktop is corrupted, your data in the Google Drive, you just install the operating system in your laptop. You can access your data from the Google Drive. It is same like this. So why we have two hard disks here and why we have 8 hard disks here? These two hard disks will install the operating system, either Windows or Linux. After installation of OS, we are going to set up the RAID. We are going to set up the RAID. RAID stands redundant array of inexpensive disks. Inexpensive or independent disk. RAID is for fault tolerance. RAID is for fault tolerance. If you set up a RAID, if you configure RAID here, even one disk crash also, application runs on the disk. While purchasing the servers for any application, you have to purchase the server with minimum 2 hard disks. With minimum 2 hard disks for fault tolerance. And these are they are also hard disk under RAID control. Also under RAID control. So that what is the advantage? If any hard disk fail, any physical disk fail, it automatically replaces the failed disk with the new disk. Automatically replace the failed disk with the new disk. So in Linux, we are going to discuss about Linux administration. We are going to discuss about the RAID. What is RAID? What is fault tolerance? How it works? So we are going to configure hot spare disk. The meaning of hot spare disk, if any one physical disk fail, it automatically replaces the failed disk with the new disk. That is called hot spare. So all these are hot spare disks for RAID, not for the database. Database will never install on internal storage. Database will always install on external storage. So before understanding what is cloud, you need to understand what is infrastructure. Before that, you need to understand what is the data center. So you understand what is data center. It contains number of servers, switches, routers, storages, all this infrastructure in the data center. One data center you might be having more than 5,000 servers and number of switches and routers. Now, I want to hold my application. I need this infrastructure like servers, storages, switches. All this data set, all this hardware is going to maintain by our own organization. What are the drawbacks of this? What are the disadvantages? What are the drawbacks? One is called CAPEX. CAPEX stands capital expenditure. Second one is time consuming. Third one is maintenance. Scalability. If I maintain my own data center for my organization, what are the teams I require? What teams are required? I need operating system team, either Windows or Linux. I need network team to configure these servers in the network. All the servers should be the network. I have to configure IP address. Is it a public IP or private IP? If I configure my system with public IP, that system can be accessible from internet. But I told you that you need to understand which server you need to have internet access. Which server should be configured in private network, which server should be configured in public network. That is decided by the network team. I need storage team. We have separate storage administrator, SAN storage, NAS storage. They are going to configure LUNs. They're going to configure LUN. LUN stands logical unit number. LUN stands logical unit number. For example, to install my database, I want to install some database. The database required 500 GB or database required 1 TB storage. The database required 1 TB storage. But in my storage, in my sandbox, I have a hard disk with 500 GB. No hard disk with 1 TB. I have 500 GB, 300 GB hard drives. No 1 TB hard disk. But this database required 1 TB. The what is the storage team? They're going to take two servers. Sorry. They're going to take two hard drives, 500 GB, 500 GB. 500 GB, 500 GB. They're going to configure LUN. LUN stands logical unit number. LUN stands logical unit number. Now, what is the LUN capacity? 1 TB. But do we have a hard disk with 1 TB here? No. I'll take two hard drives, 500 GB, 500 GB, configure LUN, which is 1 TB. And this LUN 1 TB, we are going to attach to the operating system. This learn we are going to attach to the OS. So with the from the operating system, either Windows or Linux, we are able to access this LUN, and we are going to store the data in the LUN. The data being stored where, not on local disk, in a separate storage box. So that is the job of the storage team, configuration of LUN. And tomorrow this LUN is full, the hard drive is full, this 1 TB is full. Their job is doing the storage online without any downtime. We'll discuss later what is the storage, how it works. We have a separate class for that. And virtualization team. What is virtualization also we'll discuss later. A database team. Without database there is no data center. Without database, no data center, no applications. So I need a database administrator. To monitor all these things, I need one monitoring team. These are the teams which are going to involve in your physical data center. Even if you start the data center with 2 physical servers also, we need this many employees. So tomorrow we'll continue this. Attend 3, 4, 5 demo classes. Later you can decide whether you want to join or not. Tomorrow will be the roadmap. What is this AWS? How many hours I'm going to cover? And what are the prerequisites for this AWS? What you need to understand. And what the syllabus I'm going to cover. All this stuff we'll discuss in tomorrow class. Any questions? First, you need to understand what is physical data center, to understand what is cloud. Same meeting link till end of this week. By Monday, the meeting link going to be changed. Who are registered only for those guys from Monday onwards, they are going to send the new link. Till Friday, same link. It's a demo classes. Any questions? Okay, see you tomorrow, same time.
Thank you.